I'm the Geisha of Gore. For this video, I've decided to do another South Korean horror film called I Saw the Devil. It was co-written and directed by Kim Ji-woon, who also wrote and directed A Tale of Two Sisters that I did in my last video. Just a coincidence that I'm doing back-to-back Kim films. I Saw the Devil's from 2010, and it stars Choi Min-sik as Jung Kyung-chul, a serial killer, and Lee Byung-hun as Soo Hyun, a federal special agent. Now, the movie gets right into it. Soo Hyun's fiance becomes a victim of Jang's. And it's brutal. Jang is like textbook psychopath, sociopath, you know. He brutalized her. And, you know, she's missing. They've been looking for her. They find her head. What we also find out, though, is that her father is the chief of police. So, this is a big deal. Soo Hyun decides to take a leave of absence from work, and with the help of a colleague, it's kind of still like in development, it's not widely used, but this little spy gadget that's basically, it's a capsule that he manages at some point to force down Jang's throat, and it's got GPS so he can follow him, and you know, with the receiver, and it has a microphone so he can hear what he's saying. Also, the police chief has the copies of the files of the 4 persons of interest that the detectives have narrowed things down to. So Soo Hyun goes about narrowing through those 4, and he settles on Jang, who's known to police. You know, these are people who are known to police, all 4 of them. So he hones in on him, follows him, you know, he confronts him at some point, saving the life of a potential another victim. You know, forces this capsule down his throat. So now he could have killed him right then and there, but he didn't. He decides he's going to play this cat and mouse game. Soo Hyun wants Jang to feel the same like fear and pain that his victims did. So, you know, he's following him around, and he screws with him at different points, and then like lets him go. Jang kind of figures out what's up, and then like kind of turns the tables on him. So as the film goes on, not only do you see Soo Hyun kind of turn into the monster that he's hunting, but you see that he underestimated Jang. He completely underestimated him. Jang's really smart, and he's absolutely cold-blooded. Like, there's no remorse, no fear, no nothing. So what Soo Hyun wanted to do wasn't really working. At least for him, what he wanted to accomplish wasn't going to happen. So Jang manages to turn the tables. Talks to him, you know, because he realizes there's a microphone. So, like, he talks to him, he taunts him, he tells him things about his time with Soo Hyun's fiance. Really starts torturing him, mentally torturing him. It's the title of the film doesn't necessarily refer to Jang. I mean, he's obviously the devil, but it refers more to Soo-hyun kind of, sliding into this role of monster. Like, he's becoming the monster that he's after. That's kind of what the title really goes more towards. Like, that's what I think the reference is with the title. At one point in the film, Soo-hyun tells Jang, your nightmare is only getting worse. And the thing is, it's not just Jang's nightmare, but Soo-hyun's nightmare. Like, that line applies to both men at this point. There's a sequence in the film that I felt could have kind of been skipped, where Jang kind of goes to hide out with this friend of his who's also a killer and a cannibal. I don't know. I just didn't feel it was necessary to the film. Sometimes you kind of, like, you almost feel like the movie is verging on the absurd, but Kim Ji-woon is able to kind of hold it together and keep it where he wants it. And the actors do a fantastic job too. I mean, they're both, amazing. They really are. I mean, Choi Min-sik, anybody who watches Asian horror films knows Choi Min-sik from Old Boy and Chan-wook Park's Vengeance trilogy, at the very least. And Lee Byung-hun starred in The Good, the Bad, the Weird and Bittersweet Life, among other films. And those two movies are Kim films as well. It's a brutal film. I Saw the Devil is not for the faint of heart. It's verging on torture porn, but not quite. Because of the story that it's telling. I was like, there's a reason for a lot of the violence, and there is a lot of violence, both being committed by Jang as the serial killer, but also by Soo-hyun. There's a lot of violence, psychosexual torture. It's just unrelenting, really, like right to the end. And the end, I found it's satisfying. I liked the way it ends. It's kind of weird. It's like you're rooting for Soo-hyun through the film, but it still gets tough because he's becoming a monster, and because Jang's able to figure things out and kind of turn the tables on him, you're not quite sure what's going to happen. It becomes kind of vague as to how's this going to end. Like it's not going the direction that you thought it was going to go necessarily. Like you can't necessarily pinpoint, oh, this is what's going to happen, because we don't know, because of the cat and mouse game that they're playing, that they're ultimately playing with each other, because that's what it becomes. It starts off with, hunter and hunted, and then it literally becomes they're hunting each other on some level. The reason I really wanted to do this film, though, is because, not only, it's a fantastic movie, it's crime and drama, thriller, horror, torture, the whole thing, if you're into that. But it's not for the faint of heart. It really isn't. What was really cool about this was, for me anyway, one of the reasons I wanted to discuss this film in particular was Choi Min-sik, for a time, had sort of gone into semi-retirement in protest of the way Hollywood treated the Korean film industry, and like the contracts that, the limits basically that Hollywood was putting on the Korean film industry in what was distributed in the United States. I even, who distribution rights in Asia and in Europe and like whatever. So he was pretty much done. He used the word exile. And what was really cool was, in 2012, when I was covering the New York Asian Film Festival up at Lincoln Center, they were showing Old Boy in the theater, and Choi Min-sik was in town. He was doing a Q&A after the film. But across the hall from the theater, we were gathered in a room, and Choi Min-sik was doing a press conference, because this was the first film he did after that, like, exile, semi-retirement thing. And I actually got to ask him the question, what was it about this film that made you decide to come back to acting, to come back to the movie industry? And he just said he loved the script. He was really excited to work on it. And it wasn't just him taking direction. It was, he created this character. He felt it was like he was pushing boundaries for himself as an actor. And that was why he ultimately ended up going back to making movies. Also, so it was great. I got to meet one of my favorite actors, and it was really cool too, because I knew the guys who ran NIAF at the time, and they actually let me go in the theater while Choi was doing his Q&A, so I got to sit in on that, which was good. Anyway, it's the runtime. It's 2 hours and 24 minutes. That's all. It's long, but it doesn't feel long. It doesn't drag, by any means. It doesn't feel that long at all. It's pretty widely available. It's DVD, Blu-ray. It's streaming at various places. Some sites it streams for free. I think like Peacock has it for streaming for free, or Tubi, or Pluto, or one of them. But it's on a free site. And then if you have subscriptions to like Prime and Sling and whatnot, you can also stream there. So I highly recommend it. If you've seen it, let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments, because I'll be reading. Anyway, thanks for watching. I will see you next time.